Happy Thanksgiving! Thanksgiving Day. It is Thanksgiving. I want to give thanks. Thank you all for coming and checking out my videos and watching them and seeing what's going on here. I appreciate you all coming back. And for the one time this year, because I don't think I've done this yet this year, I'm going to ask you, if this is your first time here, please consider pushing that subscription button, and I'll give you thanks for hitting that subscription button. So there's my once annual request to subscribe to my channel. Anyway, you saw the title. This is about how to distinguish an alpha OP01 Zoro. And I'm going to talk about my perspective on grading cards, because I've graded a fair amount of cards, and I want to share a little bit about what I think about it. But before we get into it, of course, Thanksgiving Day, it is the Kaizoku cards new drop. Rainbow Luffy is here. Rainbow Luffy is here. We got a couple other, I got a gold version, and there's also a glow in the dark version. These are limited prints, the gold and glow in the dark. The gold look crazy, the glow in the darks look crazy. I also have some manga leaders that I've been making for OP13, and very, very hype, I got right to it. ST29 Premium Luffy. This will be available tomorrow. There's a Black Friday deal going on. If you buy 8, 4 of them will be free. So it's buy 4, get 4 free. Hit it up. We're liquidating. Everything is going to go, and we're redoing the whole look of the website starting in 2026. Anyway, here is a alpha OP01 Zoro. And when you look at this Zoro, you might think to yourself, well, all these Zoros look the same. They don't have the change in text. However, there is a difference between the OP01 alpha Zoros and the beta Zoros. Beta meaning it wasn't in the blue bottom boxes. So if you're a collector or you know much about One Piece, you know that there was an initial print of OP01 and then they reprinted the set. The Zoros in the initial print have a fully holographic color wheel. So if you look down at this color wheel and you see that there's no opaque in it, meaning like you can see right through the hologram like that, then that means it is an alpha Zoro. This means it came from the first print run. This was not a reprint, and the value of it should be up more. So when you're looking, make sure to check and look at that color wheel so you can distinguish the difference. Here's an example of, I don't actually have a beta OP01 Zoro, but this is a Japanese OP01 Zoro. You can see that the color wheel is not holographic. So look for a holographic color wheel if you want to get an alpha OP01 Zoro. That is my tip to you. Happy Thanksgiving. Check it out. Now I want to talk a little bit about grading companies. So I get this question all the time, and I talk to people about it all the time. Where should I send my cards? What's the best to grade? And where do we go from that? So just to put a couple things relative to us, PSA is sort of the gold standard. PSA is like it's a reputable company. It stands the test of time. It's a very popular place to send cards. It's getting more expensive, and the wait times are getting longer for PSA, whereas Beckett is starting to come down a little bit relative to that. Now, the difference with PSA and Beckett is that you can get 3 different kinds of 10s, right? The PSA 10 looks like this. This is a PSA 10. Beckett 10s, you can get the highest version of a 10, which is a black label. This is a black label Beckett 10. Or you can get a gold label. A gold label Beckett 10 means that one of the categories has a 9.5. If one of the categories has a 9.5, you will get a gold label 10. If you have a perfect 10 in all areas, you will have a black label. Now, the difference is when you get a black label, it astronomically skyrockets the value. It is just unreasonable. It's like a designer handbag. All of a sudden, this is just worth so much more. Now, the other companies that I've been using and been looking at, one of them is Tag. I think Tag is very cool. I think their slabs are really pretty. You can see this is like a super clean, nice looking slab, but my personal favorite right now actually is CGC. I've really been liking CGC slabs. Bandai cards in particular grade really well at CGC. So, you know, they are strict and they look for the right reasonable things. They're not gatekeeping pristine 10s. So when a card deserves a pristine 10, it'll get it, which honestly, most Bandai cards, if they haven't been touched, they should probably get pristine 10s. The centering variance on Bandai cards is very, very low, and they're produced at a very, very high quality. So majority of things that you're sending to CGC, I actually haven't gotten back a One Piece card yet that wasn't a pristine 10. So I'm going to be using CGC a lot more. I really like these labels. I love the way that the 10 looks. You know, versus the Tag looks really cool and clean, but right now I just don't think Tag has enough reputability to compete with the value of like a PSA 10 or a Beckett 10. You know, a Beckett 10, a Beckett Gold Label 10, it's still actually going to be a little bit higher value than a PSA 10, but the black label is going to be supremely more valuable. But a Beckett 9.5, which is actually a lot more similar to a PSA 10, is going to be actually less valuable normally than a PSA 10. So if you think you're at like a 9.5, 10 and you want a really solid, reputable grading source, send it to PSA. But if you don't want to take the odds of being kept out of a number because they're maybe playing their numbers game, consider CGC. I think CGC slabs definitely are I would say second best looking, because obviously the best looking slabs are the Kaizoku grading company by Joku DMD. This is actually something I was doing like a long time ago. These were some of the cards from One Piece Formation Card Ass or something was a game. I thought they're really cool. They're called King Rares. This is actually a big inspiration for Kaizoku cards, was these cards. So I graded a couple cards, the King Rare, the KR. So this is something that I enjoyed doing. I don't actually do this like for sale anymore. It might be something I bring back in the future, but just kind of fun to have. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of people, if you're not like in the regular moving business, if you're not like grading stuff to move it and you're grading stuff for your collection, you want a nice looking slab. That, for me personally, that's my feeling. And CGC is a very reputable company. You know, they're really well known for comic book grading. That's what the majority of their grading is. But you rarely see comics graded by other companies. It's almost all CGC. And they've been doing cards for a long time also. And I just think their slabs look great. So personally, I'm going to be sending a lot more to CGC. I think their pricing is good. Their turnaround time is really good. Beckett, I definitely still send a lot to Beckett because I do like to roll those dice. And, you know, if you get a good number on a Beckett, then you're sitting on a really valuable card. And then the stuff that you don't like from Beckett, you can always crack it and send it to another company. PSA, I will buy PSA 10s, but personally, I probably won't be sending to PSA much myself because of how backed up things are. But the moral of the story is look for your Alpha Zoros. And if you did notice, this black label is an Alpha Zoro because the color wheel is holographic. So don't let people tell you otherwise. Make sure you inspect your Zoros and look for the ones that came from OP01 Wave 1. I am a dentist. I can't end without a dental tooth tip. It is Thanksgiving, so you're going to be eating a lot of food, and turkey has tryptophan in it, which makes you tired. Make sure you brush your teeth before you fall asleep. It's really easy to fall asleep with all that food on your teeth. And when you fall asleep with food on your teeth, the food that's left on your teeth attracts bacteria. The bacteria digest the food. They create acid that breaks down your tooth structure and creates cavities. So get that off of your teeth. Even if you just rinse with water and wipe them off, if you don't have the energy to brush because you're so tryptophaned out, just make sure you get your teeth clean before you fall asleep tonight. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for coming to check it out. I hope you learned something from this video, and I'll see y'all next week. And my hair is going to go back to blonde again. It's time skipping.